But it's a Rover. Yeah, but it's a GTI. Hello and welcome back. Can you join me again in front of the pink wall inside my garage? Today is a bit of what I'm going to call a bits and shits day. Basically, I've got multiple bits that I need to get done for the Rover, and today's the day that I'm going to do it. Essentially, a lot of the jobs that I've got to do are just little niggly things that need to be finished off. So as an example, when I put the spoiler on the car, I've readjusted it so it sits nice and flat now. However, the gaskets that I made are awful. So I'm going to use a piece of neoprene, which I've purchased, which is what the gaskets were made out of, to cut out the shapes and essentially make them myself. Because if I can't buy them, I guess you just have to go down the lines of just making it yourself, which I presume is what most people would have done beforehand. Another bit is getting the connection for the high brake light set up and connected onto it, which is another job I want to get done. I've got a cup holder, not the one that goes in the door card, because I'm struggling to find a 3-door, or the door cards for a 3-door later model, because I think it was 2004 and 2005 models that had the cup holders in the door cards. And if anybody's got any of them, let me know, because I'd really like to get some. But at the moment, you're joining me, say, in the garage because I'm doing this. Let me rotate the camera around. Oh, let me open up that little bit there. So basically, I've got my brake lights, the new ones that I've all cleaned, and you would have seen my review on the 3M that I had there. I'm just going to put this in 0.6 so it's a bit easier to see. Right, so on the back of the brake lights, you've got these what do you call them? Studs. In fact, you can see on this one that's on the floor, there's 1, 2, and then 3. There's a third one down the bottom. Now on this one, unfortunately, it's only got 2. So that one's broken and you can't buy anything to replace that with. So what I've done is I've got this. Now I ended up having to buy a couple of these. This is an M5 stud that's 60 mil in total length. I think I could have gone to 70 or potentially 80, but I've purchased these and I've bought some M5 nuts. And the reason why I've done that is I've screwed the nut down to 20 mil, which is the same depth as what this is. This is an M5, by the way, but with like a tapered end. This just doesn't have the tapered end, which doesn't make much difference. And then essentially that's going to go in there. So it's going to operate as the stud. Now, I was having a look at this. I am unsure how these are connected in. So I'm just going to do the classic put it back together jobby and use some Loctite super glue. So essentially I'm going to super glue the nut so that I've got more space for it, and super glue underneath, and then pour it inside here as well so that the stud hardens into place. And then hopefully that will be solid enough to act as the stud for the lights, because although I could install them now, this bit's going to be loose if it wasn't there, and then I don't think it will form a proper seal when I've got the gasket around it, and I don't want water ingress to be getting in around the casing of the light, because then it'll only end up in the boot, which is not what you want. So I'm going to get my super glue, pour that down there, put it on the nut as well, avoiding to get onto this, because this is the part that the other nut, or the captive nut, which is inside the car, will screw onto, and hopefully that'll fix it. Once I've glued it up, I think I'm going to leave it for about 24 hours just to make sure that it sets well in place. And I suppose if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but if it does work, happy days. Right, I've glued it into place. Let me get you under there so you can see it nice. You can see where it's cracked, and it obviously it must have pulled out. What I did was I threaded the nut up a little bit and then put super glue along the threads, and then threaded the nut down so that it sort of basically glued it into position. And then I poured some glue down this shaft and onto the stud itself underneath, as well as on the top and onto the nut, and then have just held it into place. It's only been in place now probably around about 60 seconds or so, but it's getting firmer and firmer as it goes on. So I think this may be although not the best solution, probably the only solution for this, because if I'm honest with you, these studs look as though they're probably attached in the exact same manner. The thing is though, there's no information on how these would have been attached. I'm guessing that's just purely because maybe it's a part people just didn't fix, because I'm guessing the lights would have been cheap enough back when they were around, but you can't get hold of them, and I paid next to nothing for them anyway. I'm sure, as you heard on the last video, I paid £25 for these. So this little fix, which was £1 worth of super glue, £2 worth of nuts, and I think it was a £5 for those studs. But you did get a couple of them, you get a couple of nuts and so forth. So all in all, I'm probably 35 quid in, including P&P for these, which is still cheaper than the £100 to £150 it cost to buy some of these ones. You might be able to get some second-hand ones cheaper, but at the time I wasn't able to. So hopefully this does the job. Right, I suppose we should move now on to the next job, which, well, I'll decide what the next job will be in a second. Okay, so I think what I'll do for the next one is I've just got this really cheap double drink holder, which I'm going to install in the car. Basically, it looks to me as though it can hold about a can-sized item. You can't really put much things in there. There's like a loop that makes the hole smaller. I don't know, for a Red Bull can, because I'm guessing the type of people that purchase these are those that drink apparently Coca-Cola. I'm more of a Pepsi Max kind of guy, but it could be Coca-Cola, or I'm guessing the Red Bull ones. All you do with this is take it out of the packet, which funnily enough is what you do with a lot of things, and then it's just got some sticky stuff on the back of it, and then I'm going to stick it at the back because I don't need to use the ashtray that's in the car because I don't smoke. Nobody else is going to sit in the back that's going to smoke cigarettes, so I suppose they're not going to be too worried about it. So I'm just going to use this, stick that down, so I've at least got something to put a can of pop in, because at the moment the car's got no drink holders, and it's an absolute pain in the bum if you want to essentially have a drink and or an open can or something like that. So yeah, let's get it stuck in the car. And now I'm sat in the car as if by magic. Right, I got this out. As you can see, sticky pads are on the bottom of it. I'm going to turn the camera. There we go. So you can look at it like this. So sticky pads on the bottom. It's got like these rubbishy little loop things on here, which I guess if you didn't want to use it as a drinks holder in your car, you could use it as a gentle little picnic basket for your things. I don't know. Right, so yeah, it's just about big enough for it to hold a reasonable sized can or a small can with one of these. In the car itself, there's nowhere. I mean, I can't even put it in here, because if you put it there, then you couldn't actually utilize it. And even if you take, oh, look at that rubbish, broke it already. Let's put that back together. Right, you can tell it's some top quality bit of kit. I think I paid a £5 for this bit of eBay Phantasm. Look at that, fixed as if by magic. Yeah, I'm going to stick it there, just here. Now, you may be saying, but Alex, what if I want to smoke a cigarette? Well, you're not going to. I mean, at the moment, it's currently used to hold 2 screws and a flanged bolt. And then those of you that are familiar with Rovers may go, but Alex, what happens if you want to tighten up your handbrake? Well, first of all, it's already been sorted. Second of all, as you can see, if I just do this, I can just pull this out and then you've got access to it, nice and easy. I'm actually just going to stick it onto this part, because then with that there, if I pulled it with this, as long as the little handles don't come off, as you saw a second ago, I'll still be able to get access to the handbrake itself. I mean, even if I did stick it partially onto here and onto here, it's not going to be difficult taking these things off here. It's not going to be put under too much stress. I just want it so I've got somewhere while you're driving, because it'll be sat here. Yeah, it's still a little awkward because you'd be sat at the front. You've got to lean your hand back, which isn't too bad, I suppose, if you were cruising along. Yeah, if I do it so it's like that. So if you see me like this, I'm sat there, maybe tip this down a little bit. Cup holder will be that location. So you can still reach back while you're driving. Too difficult. So yeah, let me get that stuck down now. And well, it says to leave it 12 hours to test it out, and I don't intend to be doing anything until tomorrow morning in this car, other than the slight repairs that I'm doing now before it gets wet, which is another reason why really what I should be doing is getting on and doing those gaskets for the rear spoiler. As you can see, I still haven't. There's the cable. There you go. It's really difficult to try and point that thing. There's the cable just there. I need to get that bit sorted as well, but I can't do that bit until I've done the gaskets. So once I've stuck this down, I suppose I better go do the gaskets. Right, all stuck down. It's now become permanent. Look, there you go. Permanent fixture with inside the car. Just got to wait the 12 hours before I can use it. In fact, according to the paperwork, yeah, yeah, keep adhesive tape at least 12 hours without no drinking. So I can't drink the adhesive tape. I'm just going to show you the paperwork as well for some of the key features that this this provides. Double drink holder, possible, so I'm guessing Spanish. Sports, you can put a 500 milliliter PET, a 350 can, or a mini can in there. My personal favorite thing is it's high quality guarantee and offers convenience. You can put it in cars, vans, lorries, and buses as well. So if you're a bus driver out there, happy blooming days. You can get the Car Sun double drink holder Possible Sports. Yeah. I think it was a £5 on eBay. To be fair to it, it's a £5. You can't really go wrong. And I've pressed the sticky paper down and it seems to do the job. So it's only got to be there to hold a can of pop, isn't it? So yeah, I'm happy, even if it is some cheap product. Right, let me get on with a few more bits and or shits. So this is a piece of neoprene. That's my dog. Hello. Okay. Yeah, so this piece of neoprene, it's 5mm thick, which is the thickness that they used on the gaskets. So I've got a piece of this. You can tell, how much did this cost me? £9 off of Amazon? I think it was let's say £9. It's supposed to be, and I quote, they send it to me in a size of A4. This line might be A4. I'm not sure what happened when they were cutting this line out. Look, let me line it up with like the crack in my laminate flooring. That bit's level. That bit most definitely is not. I don't know what happened here. It's a good thing I don't need that exact same size because I'll only be cutting pieces out of it. But yeah, yeah. Well, that's what you get for paying £8-9 really, isn't it, off of Amazon? So let me use this. I'm going to use the original spoiler as the template in order to cut out the sizes that I need. Once I've cut out the sizes, then I'll have to take off the old spoiler and then put these in. So essentially it's going to be, off the top of my head, there's going to be 4 for the bolt hole. So it'll just be like a circular piece with a hole in the center for the bolt to go through. They're not going to take up too much sizing. And then there's 3 sort of like placing, what do you call them? Placing bolts? I don't know what you call them, like placing loops. Hello. There's the dog. You can say hello, mate. Slipper just there. All right. Blooming. There'll be like 3 placing points which need to be slightly larger and have a bigger hole in it. And then they'll be used, or they are used at the front of the spoiler, which keeps it pushed down. Hello. He's come back to me again. Look. You all right, mate? He's got his harness on because, well, we'll be going out soon. We'll go for a little stroll around and about. I'm not going to say the WALK word just yet because he'll lose his mind if I do actually use those words. Yeah. You want to say hello, mate? Hello. How are you? I think he's going to have a good time when we go out. Right, let me get this stuff sorted, and then once I've got it sorted, the quicker I can get this done, the quicker he can go out. You look so sad. I don't know why he looks so sad. He's usually such a happy boy. You are currently now looking at the spoiler I took off. Yeah, so there is 1, 2, 3, 4 bolt holes, and then 1, 2, 3 locating holes, is that what you call it? And then where this particular bit is, I forgot about this. So that is the bit that sticks over to allow the cable to come through. You can sort of see on these where like the gaskets were, and like look at that. There are a lot. No, that one there, that one's 5mm. That one's like got no thickness to it whatsoever. That's all stretched out. Basically, I just need to get some gaskety pieces and do that. I'm looking at this actually, looking at that side, it looks like there was something that would have ran around the outside as well. I think the most important ones for me to do is to get these because they're essentially just holes directly into the vehicle. At least with these ones, like where they're screwed in, they sit flush. These, they are essentially holes, and that is definitely a big old hole into the car. So let me get these sort of templated out and cut out. Basically, in order to template it out, I'm literally just holding it above it and cutting around it because I haven't really got anything to draw on. It would be ideal if I had some sort of like white pencil or something like that, but I don't. So yeah, let me get these cut out and I'll show what they look like in a second. I have now cut, as you can see, based on these scissors and a few spare bits, I've now cut what I need out of this A4 sheet of neoprene. I've done this one. Well, the ones over the screws, they're all about the same size. They're all like this. I haven't shaped them into circular shapes. I've just left them sort of like this badly cut oblongy shape and then poked a hole through them because that's where the bolt will go through, because it doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to do a job. So I've got that one, that one, that one, and that one. And then for these ones, do you remember when you were a kid, you used to fold up a piece of paper and then you'd cut little bits out of the paper and it'll make like a snowflake? For these bits, all I did was cut out the right shape, folded it in half, and then did like a little triangle cut out of the middle. Let's take that off a second. Did like a little triangle cut out the middle, and then that fits nicely over here. I mean, I'm only using this one as an example. You can see the old gaskety bits are still on the back, so those won't be on the other one because I will tidy it up before I do that. And that's been the same for this one and this one. And then the last one was this one here. Instead of creating some super duper round thing, the square one will do fine. And then I've just literally cut a slit down the bottom there because the cable needs to sit on that bit here. And then that might just need a little bit more cutting into it so it goes to there. But then the cable will be able to rest, or clips into here, and it rests along there. I'm guessing the reason why this had tape on it before and it's stuck to there is because they needed tape to stick it down. But now I've got these bits, all I've got to do, here, let me bring it to 0.6 so you can see it in full. Now I've got these bits cut out. All I've got to do is take the new spoiler off the car again, and then essentially put these gaskets in there, and that should be, in the operable word, make it waterproof. I'm hoping it does, because if I show you the outside now, skies are grey. It's not quite California dreaming because we're in February. Oddly enough, it's 17 degrees today. It's February. You'll be watching this probably April, May time because I've done a multitude of videos, but at the moment it's 17 degrees in February, which is incredibly unusual because last week it was -3. You'll see a video where I go to Edinburgh, and on the day it was 6 degrees. In fact, on some of the day it was 12 degrees, bearing in mind that previously it had been in negatives, quite low negatives. I don't know what's going on. That's Britain for you. Whether it be politics or the weather, nobody knows what the hell's going on. Okay, so I've now installed these little foam gaskets, so one on each of the screws, that one there, that one there, that one there, and that one there. Not the prettiest looking thing, but also not the easiest to do while it is relatively windy and it is ever so slightly starting to spit, so I've got to get on and tighten this down. Wish me luck. Well, you'll find out in a second. You don't even have to wish me luck. You literally have to wait around about 10 seconds and you'll know whether I was successful or not, or whether I'll be holding my hands crying. I won't be doing that. I'm going to keep on going until I fix it. Right. Da, 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 da. All done. Right. Wing on. Gaskets in. Don't know if you just still hear all of that wind, but it is picking up quite a bit now. I've got it lined up as best as I possibly could. This bit seems to rise up a little bit. You can see where the gasket is. There was a gap there anyway, but I don't know if it's sat quite right just here, but that'll definitely stop the rain, which is just starting to come down now that we talk it out. Let's turn that around. This side seems to sit pretty much exactly the same. Just level all the way around. This is definitely level and laying flat across the top here, so I know that one's in. That's definitely in. It's just that side there where you can sort of see, if I zoom in, see that gap. Yeah, look at that gap. Which is a lot, this one's a lot closer. It doesn't seem to have that same sort of gap. Let me just move over this side. Yeah. Well, to be fair, when you look this side, it doesn't look too bad, and then the gap looks the same that way, so maybe it is right. Maybe it just looks difficult because it's over there. Oh. I don't know how good that's come out because of the wind. See my own face. Right, so actually, I don't know why I'm letting you look at me. You need to look at... So, they're all bolted in. Just need to get this sorted. So, that was the connector that was on it before. this is the connector that's on it now. So I need a connector that will, these two together. I really want to keep this bit here because this will be the most painful thing to deal with. So I'm going to get the corresponding one of these off of my other spoiler and attach to this bit here. I think that's the best way to do it. I'll just crimp it in, and then yeah, hopefully that'll mean it will work. I mean, I might just, to find out whether it's the right thing, maybe I can get something that'll just wedge in there. You know, like those little, actually, I'll tell you what I can use. Those push connectors. So if I can just get two of them, I can crimp two of them onto it, and then I can just press into that. That way I don't have to take this bit off of the previous spoiler. Leave it with me. I think I may have to go out and get some. My hair is looking crazier. Very, very Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Except, you know, my hair's not white, and I'm not a crazy scientist. I'm a young man. I'm not a young man. Anyway, right, let me go get these bits. I've got my crimping tools. I just need to go get two bits to connect onto there, and I shall return once I have done so. As you can see, I'm in the garage against the pink wall again. So what I've done, or what I'll give you a quick thing to do was, at the beginning, I fixed this bolt in, so I thought I'd better come back here and check to see if it's all stuck in nicely, and it is. So now I've got myself a nice stud, which is fixed onto these. So an upcoming video will be me swapping these out, which I'm quite happy with. I did have to take a trip to UK's favourite like cheap boy razor shop, Halfords, so that I could get myself some crimps, because what I was going to do was try and get the, I think they're called like pin crimps, and then use the pin crimps on the spoiler to get the high level brake light working, which I can't do. So what I'm going to have to do is actually take this off. I'll clean it up a little bit, take this off, get these wires out, and then what I'll have to do is just crimp the two wires from here onto the two wires that are on the spoiler. And I'm going to do that now so that I can get the high level spoiler working. As you might be able to see at the moment, it is dark. So because it's getting dark, it should make it really easy to see the high level brake light. So yeah, I'm going to get on, do that. Next time you see me, I should have crimped the stuff together. Right, I'm going to have to show you the poor way that I have done this. I've clipped this clip back in, and I'm going to go on the assumption that the black wire is ground and the green and yellow, or green and purple, is live, and then I've very loosely connected it onto here. It's not physically connected, it's just separated. I'm now going to check to see if that light comes on when I put my foot on the brake, and if it does, then I can fix this properly instead of having it like this. Okay, so I have double checked it, and it is correct. The cable's still dangling down at the moment, just over there, and I've connected it in properly. But so you can see, I think maybe the best way for me to do it is to balance my phone here. Let me do that. Let me balance the phone here. Oh, will it sit properly there? Yeah, there we go. It seems to be sitting properly here. Right, I've just got to get inside the car now. So, let me get inside the car. Turn the clutch. And you should be able to, if I do this, see, not only it illuminate, but it illuminate to an incredibly bright level. So I think it still says MGZR. In fact, I haven't actually personally seen what it was, because my partner turned up just in time so that she was able to look at it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. It looks like I'm going to go check it out myself now. Now you join me back in my children's playroom. So today you've witnessed me fix the stud on the rear lights. They haven't been installed yet, but that does need to get done. So we fixed the stud on the rear lights. We have created new foam gaskets because you can't buy the gaskets anymore for the rear spoiler. So that had to come off and has been put back on. We've installed a cup holder, which has got the capability to hold 350 milliliter cans. That's a weird number. It's 330 in the UK, or 500 ml bottles. I have yet to really try it out, other than when I balanced a can in it, but I don't think you saw that on the video. But I have put a Pepsi Max can in there, and I can maintain my addiction to the red, blue, and black. And lastly, I drove to Halfords and got some connectors, took the connector off the old spoiler, clipped that in, and crimped that connector to the new spoiler. So now the new spoiler works and lights up saying, fair enough, MGZR. They use just a bit of masking tape in order to do that. I wonder if there's a way that I can make one that says like Rover 25 or 25 GTI. That'd be quite cool to do. I might have a look into that. Maybe that'll be a nice little interesting extra to do. The only thing I've got left now from my bits and shits job is to reattach all the trim round the boot itself. I don't know if I'm going to do that right now because, well, it's dark and spooky. No, it's because also the rear wiper, the wiper works, but the washer jet doesn't, and I kind of need to investigate that. But I do believe I have to take the trim off to do it. So I don't know if I'll take that trim off, or leave the trim off and then have a look at fixing it, or if I'm going to just put the trim on and then ignore it for the time being, because it's not really negatively impacting me like the other bits kind of were. Still, it's kept me entertained for an afternoon. Everybody's back home now. So now I've done this stuff, I'm going to sit down, relax and have my dinner with the kids and the missus. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to be able to go down to the petrol station, fill up with a bit more premium, and then maybe complete my trio of MPG challenging where I need to drive to good old Sunny Honey, but this time on E5, and then up the dual. I suppose then I've got to run it down and then I'll go up the dual on either 60 mile an hour, or up the A1, should I say, on 60 mile an hour. And, but then the last one I have to do it on E10. We'll see if I can do the Sunny Honey one tomorrow. That'll be a good idea. It'll be about 2 and a bit hours out of my day, but if I go really early in the morning, then I can get that sorted. And then I suppose spend the rest of the week or so whittling the fuel tank down so I can put E10 back into it, and then I can test up and down the A1 with E10. So that video is probably going to take, because I'm going to roll it all into one, so that video is probably going to take me 1 or 2 weeks to make. In fact, what I could do is do the E5 Sunny Honey run, and then spend 2 weeks running the fuel reserves down so that I can then load it back up with E10, and then I'll have a gauge of what round town MPG is, the difference between E5 and E10, and then the difference between E5 and E10 on dual carriageway. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Anyway, gone off on a little tangent here. I really appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to watch me do these bits and shits jobs today. If you liked what you saw, then please give the video a like. By all means, pop a comment on it. I appreciate it. It'll be quite interesting to hear what people's thoughts are, stuff I can do. Yeah, just anything. Just have a conversation with me. I don't really mind. Blooming, it'll be nice to have a chat about the different Rovers, or if you want to talk about a different car, that'll be quite interesting. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be cool to subscribe, because there's quite a few people that watch. I think at the moment, bearing in mind, like I say, I'm recording this in February, so I've got the almighty amount of 33 subscribers. However, every single one of you that has subscribed, I am incredibly grateful, because it means, at least to me, it shows that you guys are finding it interesting. Even if at the moment it's only 33 people are finding it interesting, I really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to do so, and that you're watching and consuming the content itself. So thank you ever so much. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free to do so. Like I say, please drop a like and leave a comment if you want. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Not sure what I'll do yet. Like I say, might be that MPG run, but it also might be me doing the rear lights. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to go to the beach, then you might as well have your car looking as max power as possible. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Ta-ra.